Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley. Don Fisher is off tonight. 2 U.S. Postal Service contractors in Polson have been arrested for felony possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute. A Lake County Sheriff's deputy made the arrest after an investigation over the last few days that was assisted by the U.S. Marshal's Office and the U.S. Postal Inspector. A search warrant for the package was executed after it had been delivered to an address that was not listed on that package. During the search, half a pound of meth was discovered, along with 10 firearms and $1,000 in cash. 62-year-old Anthony Frisia and 47-year-old Mary Frisia arrested. They were booked and released from the Lake County Jail. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell tells us how they were able to track the package to the suspects.
One of my drug task force guys, deputies, was given a tip to check on this. We started checking with the assistant of the U.S. Postal Inspector. We checked the package, and so we just tracked the package.
A court case is pending. Sheriff Bell notes that other recent narcotics investigations conducted in conjunction with the Kalispell and Missoula area drug task forces have resulted in the seizure of an additional half pound of meth and 10 pounds of marijuana, all of which was being trafficked from out of the area. Authorities released the name of the woman who was killed yesterday afternoon in a crash in Flathead County. Flathead County Sheriff Chuck Curry says 82-year-old Doris Field of Whitefish died as a result of injuries sustained in the two-vehicle crash on Montana Highway 40. This happened between Columbia Falls and Whitefish. The crash occurred near the intersection of Dillon Road when the vehicle Field was driving eastbound on Highway 40, crossed the center line and was hit by a westbound dump truck. The Montana Highway Patrol is continuing to investigate. Turning now to weather, expect more steady snowfall in the mountains and a wintry mix in the valleys. For the latest on what to expect this weekend, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Erin Yost and her first forecast. Erin.
Yeah, we're going to see exactly just that. We do have a northwesterly flow that's developed behind our larger exiting system. Things, though, still will remain active at least into the first half of this upcoming weekend. Right now, seeing a rain-snow mix across at least the southern end of the Flathead into the Mission Valley. We will continue to see some mountain snow, perhaps some light accumulation possible, and that has prompted a winter weather advisory to be issued for the West Glacier region through 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, where we are looking at anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow. High pressure will take hold on Sunday into Monday. I've got the extended forecast outlook on the way.
An aggressive flu outbreak shut down an entire North Idaho school district this week, and now crews are working to disinfect all 4 schools in that district, including the school buses, before classes resume next week. Ariana Lake reports from Kellogg, Idaho.
The closures allow time for students to seek medical attention and to get some extra rest if they need it. And as you can see, a deep clean is underway on every single school in the district.
These custodians have a long to-do list.
Everything in sight that kids touch.
Sally Adams and Lisa Backman need to spray down every desk, chair, keyboard, and doorknob here at Kellogg High School after a flu outbreak spread across the school district. Superintendent William Woodford says the virus is aggressive.
Take it seriously. I guess that would be the comment, because this is a particularly tough virus.
Crews are cleaning and sanitizing every classroom here and at the other 3 schools, as well as the buses, to prevent the flu from spreading more. Woodford says about 300 students, which make up about 28% of students in the district, were out sick, along with more than 20% of teachers, when school leaders decided to cancel classes and activities for the rest of the week. The superintendent is encouraging parents to continue to monitor their kids' health.
I would strongly suggest that parents continue to monitor their children's health, that their kids get plenty of rest, and that they drink plenty of fluids.
School leaders will continue to watch the outbreak and respond as needed.
Now, this year's flu season has been dominated by this particularly nasty bug, and health officials say it has reached almost every corner of the country. In a news conference today, the CDC says flu season is now peaking. Danielle Nottingham has more.
Plenty of people are getting sick with the flu right now. The CDC says the flu is now widespread in every state in the U.S. except Hawaii.
The season started early back in November and has had a really rapid rise and is probably peaking right about now.
The latest data from the CDC show the U.S. could be in for a severe season. The H3N2 virus is dominating this season, which tends to cause more severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths, especially in children and older adults. So far, 20 children have died. These parents in Ohio are mourning the loss of their adopted 4-year-old son who died last week. Jonah Reben had underlying medical conditions.
It's a difficult thing, but the joy, the absolute joy that Jonah brought into our lives and that all of our children bring into our lives make any sorrow that comes along with it worth it.
The CDC is urging anyone who has not been vaccinated for the flu to get the shot now, even though the season may be peaking.
There could be upwards of 13 more weeks of influenza still to come. The predominant strain right now is H3. However, H1N1 seems to be making an entry right now and may be causing disease later in the season. And then influenza B notoriously shows up late and can affect both older and younger individuals.
Because if there's one thing we know about the flu, it's unpredictable. Danielle Nottingham at CBS News, Los Angeles.
The CDC says vaccine effectiveness could be in the 30% range this season. Later this year, Northwestern Energy, the state's largest electric utility, will be filing its first general rate case in nearly a decade. It's too early to say whether Northwestern will be looking for a rate increase, but as MTN's Mike Dennison tells us, Northwestern still starts out with some of the highest power rates of any major utility in this region.
As of January 1st, Northwestern Energy is charging household customers about 11.3 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity. That's the highest rate of any large investor-owned utility in Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Oregon, or Washington for a comparable household. For a household consuming 800 kilowatt hours, that works out to about $95 a month. Only Portland General Electric customers consuming the same amount have a higher monthly average bill, about $99. That's because PGE charges customers a higher monthly minimum fee than Northwestern does. Household customers for most utilities in the region have average monthly bills in the $70 to $85 range. The lowest cost utility is Idaho Power, whose customers have an average monthly electric bill of about $71. They pay about 8.2 cents per kilowatt hour. Why are Northwestern Electric customers paying these high prices when market prices for electricity are at historic lows? One culprit, deregulation in the late 1990s. Northwestern's predecessor, Montana Power Company, sold off its power plants, and since 2007, when deregulation was repealed, Northwestern has been buying back those power sources.
Most of the utilities have owned generation for a significant period of time. The cost of that generation goes down over time because of depreciation. So because Montana is just rebuilding its portfolio, those resources are a little bit higher cost relative to other utilities that have had them in ownership for an extended time period.
Case in point, Montana Dakota Utilities, which serves eastern Montana, never deregulated or sold off its plants. Its electric rates are about 25% lower than Northwestern's. Another factor, Northwestern pays higher property tax rates than many other utilities. Those rates are passed on to ratepayers. But even if Northwestern halved its tax bill, its electric rates would still be the second highest in the region. Public Service Commission Chairman Brad Johnson says Northwestern ratepayers did get stuck with some high-cost assets in the past decade, but that it's getting better with time.
If you look at 2007 to date, and I think this is important, actually the rate increases of this peer group in the region you're talking about have all on a percentage basis been greater than Northwestern's. So from that inflated starting point that was a result of market forces, really the record of rates has been pretty good.
So if you thought your Northwestern electric bill seemed relatively high this winter, you're right. But it hasn't changed all that much in the last few years. Mike Dennison, MTN News, Helena.
For a complete look at Mike Dennison's report on how Northwestern's electric rates stack up with our neighbors, just visit our website, KAJ18.com. Coming right up after this quick break, state health officials launched a new initiative that focuses on early intervention to prevent child abuse and neglect. And in this week's Salute to Service, longtime serving Kalispell City Council member Jim Atkinson looks back on his 30 years of service. Still ahead here on KAJ.